We can start with the manager, but I think must start with the players. You have to, when you're playing football at the Premier League, I'm not even going to say at Manchester United, I'm just going to say at Premier League and professional level, you've got to adapt to the circumstances within the game. They've not planned how to play with 10 men. It's pretty damn obvious, isn't it, how you play with 10 men? You shift the ball you shift the ball quicker, you shift it from side to side, you switch play, you stretch the pitch and make it as big as possible, and this pitch always feels big at Old Trafford. You make sure that you literally run the other team ragged. Manchester United kept at times 3 and 4 and 5 players, maybe not behind the ball, but maybe behind, just a one Everton player with Barry up front. The 3 at the back had to form differently. They had to change. I know that Ruben Amorim has said he'll never change his 3 at the back system. I get it, but I'm sorry. Luke Shaw has to go forward and play like a left winger. Bring Euro round with De Ligt. Make sure that they mark Barry, snuff him out, and Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes move forward. Make sure you don't play again too deep. And the rest of the players, to be fair, make sure you try and create some form of overload. I mean, I played here as 10 men a lot of times. And quite simply, you would never see me back. I'd be literally as wide as possible with either David Beckham or Antonio Valencia or Cristiano Ronaldo on that right-hand side, and Ryan Giggs and Dennis Irwin or Patrice Evra would be as wide as possible on this side. And you'd leave basically Scholes in there, literally switching play, which Bruno Fernandes can do, and you'd have that 4 in midfield of Everton charging from side to side, and eventually you work them, you fatigue their legs, you get bodies in the box. Manchester United left 1 man up front all night in Xerxes. They had to have 2 up. Just forget the 2 up from a point of view of changing your system, Ruben. 2 up from a point of view of when there's crosses going in the box, you've got presence. I know that Tarkowski and Keane, what you're trying to do with Tarkowski and Keane, he's not asking necessarily for players to go and beat them in the air, because they're better than probably Manchester United's players that were on the pitch. What you're asking to do is occupy them. You're occupying the centre-backs. Let's pretend that's Cole and York. They're not going to beat 2 giant centre-halves in the air, but they can occupy the centre-backs, which means that someone else can maybe make a run in and get the goal. Casemiro or whoever. And I just thought United was so pedestrian and so negative having gone to 10 men. You've got a flood forward. It's got to be like the Alamo when you're playing against 10 men. And they still kept this 3 at the back. All right, Luke Shaw ambled forward a little bit. I was particularly harsh on Luke Shaw, less so on Euro, because Euro is a centre-back. Luke Shaw's not a centre-back. Luke Shaw is a left-back who can go forward and go forward well, and actually's got a good left foot. So you be the one who dominates and goes forward on that left-hand side. Euro comes round a little bit. You don't want him on this right-hand channel in the ball, which we saw for so much in the second half. And he's just playing passes. He's not capable of doing that. That's not his game. So I was harder on Shaw. I thought Shaw was so disappointing in the second half. I thought the substitution, and I'm riffing now, in no particular order, bringing Dalot on that far side and blocking that side off. I know Dorgu was having a tough night. He wasn't great at all. But at least he's got a left foot. But putting Dalot on meant that all of a sudden that he's having to turn back the way on his right foot and play around. Now, he's a capable player, Diogo Dalot. He's not a left wing back though. He's not a left winger. He's finding himself as a left winger. Dalot is not a left winger. It was nowhere near good enough. That was a really bad night for United. It was an embarrassment at times.
You mentioned the likes of Ronaldo and Beckham and Valencia. They don't have those players.
No, I wasn't referring to those players in terms of quality, and they should be. I was referring about the actual positions that the players who were out there should have been in. Look, they've got injuries. Sesko's injured, Cunha's injured, but forget that. There's no excuses tonight, by the way. You know, you think about Everton's squad, they lost Seamus Coleman after 1 minute, 2 minutes. They had a man sent off. No excuses. Let's not start that game. Everton dominated them with 11 men and with 10 men in a different way of domination. That was a Manchester United team tonight who have come here off the back of a decent run, and maybe we've all fallen into that trap of just thinking, United are back, there's a bit of expectancy, they're going to go up to 4th or 5th in the league, level with Villa, they're going to be 21 points, they're going to be ahead of Liverpool. We're all thinking it. Let's be clear, let's be honest with ourselves. Why wouldn't we think it? You're playing against Everton, who we ordinarily, to be fair, beat here, and it's complacency. And complacency will kill you. The minute that you think, as a football player, that you just have to turn up on that pitch and you're Manchester United and you can play, or any football club, you're done. And they've turned up tonight off the back of an international break. They've had a full 5-6 days break all together. It's been perfect. You couldn't ask for any more. There's no international football that's interfered with this build-up. There's no European football for them. They've had the perfect amount of time to really prepare for this match. And it's as if they've imagined in their heads they're going to be in the Champions League places. And they've thought that maybe before the game. And it just smelt of complacency. From minute one, actually, they weren't at it from the beginning. I mean, that first 12 minutes before Idrissa Gueye got sent off, Everton were by far the better team. And that is a bad one for United. I actually think they've been a lot better in the last few weeks. I think that probably takes us back to Brentford away. You can't go from here, good standards, and the fight that they showed in certain games. You can't go from that to that. It erodes confidence. It erodes trust. It erodes trust. We're trying to build a trust in a manager. We're trying to build a trust in a team. And tonight, the fans have left that game. I mean, they booed collectively at the end. It was a loud, and rightly so. I mean, that was a really poor performance. But it erodes trust. And tonight, you lose a lot again. And it's almost as if you've gone sort of like 2 or 3 steps forward. Everyone's feeling a little bit better about themselves. And you've just gone back to the start again. There's a long way to go. And to be fair, it's a tight league. And everyone's being inconsistent. Everyone's beating one another. There's only Arsenal really that are demonstrating a level of consistency. So there'll be, opportunities to correct it and put it right. But you can lose football matches, but you can't lose them like that. That's nowhere near good enough. It's not acceptable. You sometimes getting the balance right. You're a United fan and you're trying to do a commentary where you're basically watching a football match, but you end up getting angry. You're angry because you've had that lived experience of being out there on that pitch and come on. You like that. You're thinking, come on, go forward. Just do something with intent. Do something like you mean it. And so much in that second half you could look at and think it was wrong. And sometimes you can't put words around it. You can't explain it. You're just watching it. And it's apathy. You sometimes get emotional as you talk as a fan, and sometimes you can get that balance wrong. But like I say, from a point of view of watching the other team play, you look at Everton and got full of admiration for them and deserved everything that they got tonight. But from a United perspective, you're thinking that you want your team to sort of just lift and go and grow and take the pressure off the manager, and that just takes it back. We're at the start of the winter straight, the period of the season that I used to love most. Get the international breaks out of the way. You've got 10 or 15 games now without reply, without international breaks, without a lot of European football at moments during this period. It finishes obviously in December. So it's a really enjoyable period of the season where the Premier League really gets into its stride. And you've got to set off on that straight really, really strong. And Everton have done that tonight and Manchester United haven't.